Alright, what's going on, guys? So, once again, straight home from work, straight into gearbox stuff. So, as you'd know, last week we burnt the clutch out in the ute. Well, a couple of weeks ago we burnt the clutch out. So last week I pulled the gearbox out and sanded the clutch back, tried to re-skim it myself. The flywheel, sanded the flywheel back, tried to re-skim it myself, and put a second-hand clutch plate and pressure plate in that I had in the shed, which still had a bit of tread on it, hoping that would solve the problem. Now, it was noted to me, well, after doing all that, it still slipped. So it was noted to me in the comments down below by the Brotang and another bro, Alex Osborne. So what they were saying is that because my flywheel has been skimmed before, and possibly before I skimmed it even, that it's lost some of the squash in between the pressure plate and the clutch plate, which is the surface area of where the clutch plate actually sits. That's been milled too far down now, and the pressure plate can't get close enough to hold enough pressure on it. So what needs to be done is the flywheel needs to be skimmed on the outer edge where the pressure plate actually bolts to, resulting in more squash between the pressure plate and the clutch plate, holding more pressure onto the flywheel. So Alex Osborne, he is a mate of mine who has commented down below, and I believe he's a qualified engineer, not sure, but I'm picking he's got a lathe, because he's piped up and said he's going to skim it for me. So fucking shout out to you, my man. So I'm going to pull it back off now. I'm not going to record the gearbox coming off, because fuck, I've done enough gearboxes on this ute, on this channel, for you to go back and see how that's done. I'm sure you know how to pull a gearbox off. It's fairly straightforward. So before it gets dark and 0 degrees, because it's supposed to be a frost tonight, I'm going to quickly jack it up, whip that gearbox off, get that flywheel to him tomorrow hopefully, and then hopefully it'll be back and ready to go back in before the weekend, and we can, try again. This is only the 13th or 14th time I've pulled this gearbox off on this ute, so fuck, I hope it works this time. So let's get to it, and fucking fingers crossed. Alright, so it's about 5:45, starting to get a bit dark out. I have the flywheel, pressure plate and clutch plate all sitting right there. So what's going on is that when I had this clutch machined, the flywheel machined about 9 months ago, I had them resurface this area here, which is where the clutch plate sits. Then around the outside, he didn't touch, obviously. No real need to in my mind, and probably his either. That is where pressure plate bolts to. So the pressure plate bolts on, I'm sure some of you know this, but go through it anyway. Pressure plate bolts on there. Now, those fingers there are what hold, those are what hold the pressure there, and when you push your clutch pedal, a bearing pushes against these fingers, which then take the pressure off of here, releasing that, leaving it in a limbo, disengaging the clutch, so you've got no drive to your rear wheels. Now, since this has been machined here so much, it has taken the surface of that area down, within a few mils, which has left bugger all pressure between the pressure plate, the clutch plate, and onto the flywheel. So what needs to happen now is this needs machining. So this needs to be machined down, because there is a gap there, a lip, as you can see, slight lip just there. So that lip needs to be broader, meaning we need to machine that down so this lip then comes up, which will then hold more pressure between the pressure plate and the clutch plate, resulting in no slip. So this is what the guy is going to do for me, Alex, hopefully, is he's going to machine this down 1 mil and maybe just resurface this by not even half a mil. So what that's going to do there, like I said, is going to bring that closer to that, holding more pressure on that. So the clutch doesn't slip if I don't make any power. So if I turn the fuel down and the boost down on the ute, we won't have any slip, but that's not the aim of the game, right? I'm making decent power, I've got the fuel right up, rolling heaps of coal out of the old side pipe, running 20 psi of boost, and it hums. But this is the weak point. Now the reason for this being the weak point is that this ute's done, anywhere in excess of 400,000 k's, given that the speedometer or odometer might be a bit inaccurate for, I'm sure you can work out the reasons for that. So this flywheel could have been re-skimmed many a times, leaving this bugger all of a lip. So I'm going to drop this video now, and we'll pick it back up in a couple of days when I get the flywheel back, and we'll throw it all back together, and hopefully she'll be fucking bang on, because I'm sick of taking this gearbox out, absolutely fucking sick of it. Alright, so it's 2 days later. I've got my flywheel back. Shout out to Alex Osborne, so that's cool. That's sitting in the ute here. I've just got home from work, and they dropped this off last night. So he has machined that. Now he measured it, and there was 1/2 mil step between where the pressure plate bolts and where the friction disc goes. That being the friction disc. Fuck off, Cap. So there was 1/2 mil gap, 1/2 mil step there. So what he's done is he's resurfaced that, and then he's measured it, and there is now 1.5 mils there. So we've got an extra mil of step there, resulting in more squash between the pressure plate, friction disc and flywheel, hopefully resulting in no slip. So I'm going to bang this on now once again before it gets dark, and yeah, hopefully take it for a test drive and it doesn't slip for the first time in like almost a year. So that will be fucking gold. Alright, so I've got the flywheel on, pressure plate and clutch in there. Straight away I noticed these bolts here that do up your pressure plate were harder to do up, so resulting in it was harder to pull that pressure plate into the flywheel, meaning there is more squash between it. So straight away I'm already noticing more pressure on that pressure plate, even with just a 1 mil difference on the step between where the friction disc goes on the flywheel and where the pressure plate bolts to the flywheel. So now I throw my gearbox on, and fuck, we should be away laughing. Alright, well, it's the next day. It got a bit too dark last night to film. I took it for a drive and it still slips. I'm not sure if it's as bad or not. I think it might be better, but it is still slipping. So I've just fired it up, just got home from work, and I'll take it for a quick trip down the road and show you. Can't go far because that fuel gauge does work, and yeah, might run out of fuel just cruising up the road, but yeah. Alright, straight out of my driveway. I'm going to put my foot down now, watch the rev counter, straight into slip. So not good at all, my friend. So I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do. So we put it's got an extra mil worth of step on that clutch pressure plate, flywheel, and so I had 1/2 mil, it's now got 1.5 mil, and it's still slipping. So I mean, what's wrong with this fucking thing? I'd never sell this ute, but fuck, I'm about to scrap it, that's for sure. Slip. So I don't know what the go is. Do I need to put another mil or two on there? Should it be like 2.5 mil of step instead of 1.5 mil of step? Thing is though, is that the friction plate or the clutch plate, they're only, well, they're not even 10 mils thick. So an extra mil is, you know, like an extra, that's like an extra 20% of pressure applied, I would have thought, or something like that. Does that sound right? So in the clutches terms anyway, you know, the pressure plate, the clutch plate's only 10 mil or 8 mils thick, so an extra 1.5 mil, I thought that was quite a lot considering there was only 1/2 mil there, but clearly it wasn't enough. Alright. So that's definitely still slipping. Don't need to be a mechanic to figure that out. I don't know, is it better? Is it worse? It's definitely not worse. It might be better, but very like marginally. So yeah, I don't know. What's next? What else could it be, you know? So I don't know, I'll leave it up to you guys, or leave it up to the guys that actually taught me about squash in the comments down below. What do you reckon, Alex? What do you reckon, bro tang? Do we pull it out and put another mil on that flywheel, or another couple of mils even? So there's you know, a good sort of 2.5, 3 mils a step rather than 1.5 mils a step. Yeah, because this is just, it's getting ridiculous. So if you're not a subscriber here for the first time and all that, you know what to do. Go down, smash subscribe, and we'll see if we can sort this clutch out. If you're already a subscriber, fucking too much. And yeah, see you on the next one. Probably pull a gearbox out again, eh? Fuck, the old R31's on rego hold. Should we just get that off and daily that? Although I'm not sure I'll get a warrant, considering we got 2 fixed back buckies, half cage welded in there, no seat belts, just harnesses. Still, be fucking sick to daily.